everything is so. And so when we look at pain, 95% of pain is the musculoskeletal apparatus. And why is that the case? Because what moves us around are the bones and the muscles. And so what gets injured are the bones and the muscles. So of course, there's most receptors for pain is in the bones and the muscles. It's less in the visceral organs, although we have some stuff, we can pull up charts that say, well, look, these are the pains you feel and these sort of organs are going wacko, and of course that's very, very good to understand that. But most of it, 95% of it is not there. And then the other thing that's important is when we look at these things as symptoms, symptoms are the language that the body has to tell us that something is wrong. And so what we often do is we take a weed, you're a gardener, right? We take a weed and we cut it. Well, we shouldn't do that, right? Because it grows right back. It's kind of like the same with the pain meds. We take the pain meds, it covers the pain, and that's happy for a while. Of course, that's fine for a moment, but if it's a chronic thing, it always will lead to more weeds growing in here. It means to more, instability, and then more further down the line, more injury like a hamstring pull or a back surgery at the end of the day. And so what we need to do is we need to take our roots and not just cut weeds. And that in us means we need to walk straight or something like that and not just sit all crooked or the other thing is the food, the chemistry is the big posture chemistry and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we look at the players, which we have to do, because it's not that complicated when we want to see about how to reduce these sort of problems and get that weed out from the roots and not from the just cutting it, because we have bones, they stack on top of one another and hold us up. We got ligaments, they hold the bones together like rubber bands. And when we snap some of that, when we have, for example, an injury like a twisted ankle or something like that, we snap those, break those, the bones get stuck out of place. And so often what happens then in regular just let's figure out the symptoms, let's just eat the pain pills on top of that and calm down the inflammation and then do some exercises to move it around again, that's fine, but the bones are still stuck out of place. And that's going to get then a long-term impact, and that gets a long-term problem. Or when we sit up crooked. I mean, if you work on a laptop, have you ever tried to sit up straight? It's really hard. You either sit like this, and so the shoulders are tight, or you're sitting like this, because you've got to look down at the keyboard. And then your neck gets all stiff, and that's a problem. And so posture is a big problem. And I think, if we look at the aging process, we got to start moving this one over here at some point with these cell phones. Because I see that so often, like this posture is so chronic. And that goes right to the muscle. When you look at the muscle, they are here to move us around. And so that's great stuff. But of course, when we get injuries, some of the muscles, and that could be an injury that a muscle tears. So if a muscle tears, the brain just turns it off like a breaker. It says, ain't working. But longer term postural things that happen often get us these imbalances like here, where often the front gets tight and the back gets really weak and long, and we sit like that. Or down in the lower back, from sitting, our glutes get all wimpy, and the abdominals get inhibited, but then the low back muscles and the hams get really tight. That's a very, very common thing. And so these patterns, they happen, and the body still needs to move around, the body still needs to be stable. But it's going to be less efficient, and it's going to injure itself more. So look at this. This is an interesting study. This here, back here, is the multifidus muscle. That's the deep low back muscle. That's nice and bright. You see that? Over here, it's pretty white. The white is the infiltration of adipose tissue, fatty tissue that doesn't contract. This is long-term pain and injury on the back, low back problem. This is a healthy low back. So it's a very big difference. So the dark is tissue that can contract and move and help and stabilize the back. The white cannot do that. When we look at that's a core muscle. Well, it's not. It's a deep stabilizing muscle. When we look at posture, when we walk or stand, this is nice and straight as a good core. When we walk down the stairs, this is how it looks when we're not good in core. We're wobbling down like that. So guess what? All the rest starts being more injured. And the muscles that don't work right, they don't absorb shock as well. And so that's another contributing factor, for example, to bad low discs. If these deep muscles are turned off and they don't absorb the shock that comes into them all the time, guess what? They're going to deteriorate faster. It's kind of like you driving around without shock absorbers. It's pretty hard in your butt.
Now, that only happens when you said there's an accident, or is that?
No, that also happens posturally. micro trauma and macro trauma is very often, at the end of the day, is very similar. Micro traumas just happen slower and are more, when we look back, farming people, they probably had other postural things than we do. But we're sitting a lot because of our jobs and everything else and our lifestyle, and so we got these sort of postural things that show up. Plus the other thing is up here, when you think about it, we're actually come from from quadruped. And so the arms used to be pushed up. So some of the muscles that holding down, they make the trunk be held up against the arm, the shoulder. Now the arms are pulling down. And so that's a different relationship. So some of that is because of that as well. Because the muscle arrangement in a quadruped, like in a horse or so, is very similar to a human. It's not that different. And so that's, that sort of things that I'm thinking about sometimes. But yeah, you have these problems, and the question is, and why I put this together is for my patients to better understand it, also for our professionals, because we are in a world where we just go for the symptom, we don't really go for that root pulling out, that fixing anymore. And if we really want less pain ongoingly and better performance or prevention of injury, we need to address these sort of problems. And these sort of problems, as now are sort of known, and that's why I'm putting this also together, because the American College of Physicians says these sort of things that, like I do, like working on joints to move joints better around, or figuring out how to get muscle tissue decreased with adhesions and loosening that up, or stimulating muscle with other techniques, or then what I don't have on here is do balancing exercises to sort of integrate the whole system. That really gets the movement apparatus functionally better, which decreases the pain so much more than just taking a pain pill over and over. Or even sometimes I get a lot of patients, they come in and they say like, oh, the PT didn't work. It's probably not because the PT didn't work. It's probably the system just makes that be a mill, and you get a PT clinic mill that just shoves them through it. They don't really look at it, or a chiropractor as well. Or it wasn't the right time for the right problem. Yeah. And so, and the other reason why I think it's so important to have a good musculoskeletal system and take care of these problems well when we can is because if you can't walk around, how are you going to stay healthy otherwise? So that's the other reason why I realized over time that the way we're treating with this, we're going to make a lot of young, old people. And we're going to have a lot of old, young people. And so that's why I think that's important.